All right, well, we're going to begin chapter 3 now, which is on decimals and decimal operations. So our first lesson is going to be on reading and writing decimals in a variety of ways. So here we go. Today's goals. Students will be able to read, write, and represent decimals. Students will be able to write decimals in standard form, expanded form, and word form. So we see this example right here. What's important with decimals is that we understand the place value. So we'll get to that on the next slide. But to read a decimal, first you're going to read the whole number. So I would say 17. Then when you get to the decimal, you're going to say the word and. So I know whatever is before the word and, if someone says a decimal, is my whole number. Then and refers to my decimal. And then what you're going to do is look at the number after the decimal. You're going to first read that as a number all by itself. So I see the number 987. So I'm going to write 987. Okay, so once I've read my whole number, put and for the decimal, read the number after the decimal as a number all by itself, then my last step is to identify which place value the last digit is in. Okay, we'll review on the next slide, but you can see tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So we would end this with 10,000ths. Now because it's a decimal, we add the TH to the end. Instead of saying thousands place, we say 10,000ths place. So that is the difference. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at our place value here. So let's say we have the number 7822 and then our decimal and 1459. All right, so we know, we're just going to write the place value here. We know that this is our ones place. This is the tens place. This is the hundreds place. And then would be thousands and 10,000s and 100,000s and then millions place. All right, so that's when we go this way. Now the ones place is kind of our center here along with the decimal. So there's only one ones place. We don't have a ones place. We have a ones. Now on this side, it's the tens. On the other side of the ones, we put 10, but we put the THS. So it's tenths. So this is your tenths place. 2 over from ones is hundreds. 2 over this way is hundredths. Again, just like the hundreds, but we put the TH. 1, 2, 3 over is the thousands place. 1, 2, 3 over is going to be the thousandths place with the TH at the end. Okay. Next over on the left, we have the 10,000ths place. Same thing over here, except it's 10,000ths and the TH. So you can see again, we've got the ones as our center. Tens, hundreds, thousandths, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000s. So hopefully you can see a pattern there. All right, so what does a decimal actually look like? What does it mean? You've used these hundreds blocks before where a block equaled 100. Well, now we're going to have one whole block equal one whole. So one whole pi. All right, so if this is one whole, then we can show parts of a whole. And what decimals are is they are part of a whole. So if I have a whole pan of brownies, a decimal would be part of that pan. So 1/10, to color in 1/10, we would shade in 1 out of the 10 rows. So this shows 1/10. One of the little squares, because it's divided into 100 equal squares, then 1 in the hundredths place would look like this. So let's go ahead and look at some of these problems. Write the decimal that is represented by each model. All right, well, I'm going to start with a decimal point. I'm going to see how many tenths and how many hundredths. So I have 2 full rows. That means there's 2 tenths. And then I have 1, 2, 3, 4 little squares left over for hundredths. So my decimal is 24, and we'd say that as 24 hundredths right here. Okay, B, we have 1 whole, so let's put our decimal down first. We have 1 whole pie, or Panda brownies, so we'll put a 1 before the decimal. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 tenths. So we're going to put an 8 in the tenths place, and we don't have any extra hundredths. Now I want you to note, though, that we could put a 0 here, and that 8 tenths is the same as how many little squares do we have? We have 80 little squares, or 80 hundredths. C, put our decimal down. You can see that we have 2 whole pans of brownies, so we'll put a 2 before the decimal. Let's see how many tenths we have. I have 1, 2, 3 rows of 10. And then how many hundredths? Looks like I've got 7 little squares left over, so we'll put a 7 in the hundredths place. So how would we read this? I read the whole number first and say 2. Then I see the decimal and I write and. Then I say this as a number all by itself, 37. And then I have to say what place value the last digit is in, which is the hundredths place. So it'll be 2 and 37 hundredths. And we have to put that TH on there. All right, so to write, now we're going to learn how to write a number in expanded notation. Now we've done this before, just with whole numbers, not with decimals. We're going to do the same exact thing. So to write a number in expanded notation, write the digit in its place value location. For zeros in the number, just skip over these place values. You don't need to write them. So let's go ahead and try. Let's underline each digit as we do it. So this would be 3, and then we're going to put plus. Now this is a 0, so we can skip that. Now I want you to underline the 8. So it's 8 what? I see that that number is 8 hundredths. So I'm going to say 3 plus 8 hundredths. Plus, we have 1 more, so let's underline it. 5, but 5 what? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. This is going to be plus 5 thousandths. So this is how we write this decimal in expanded notation. Now let's just practice reading this. I'm going to look at my whole number first. My whole number is 3. Okay, then we're going to get to decimal and we're going to write and. Then we're going to read this as a number by itself, 85. And then we're going to look at what place value the last digit's in, tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So 85 thousandths. Make sure you have that TH. This is just a reminder on the place value. Let's take a look at this one. Underline each digit and write what does it actually represent. This 1 is not really 1, it is 1,000. Plus, we're going to skip the 0, underline your 8. That's not really 8, it's actually 80. Plus, this is worth 5. Plus, we'll skip the 0. And then this isn't really 6, it is 6 tenths. So we've just written that number in expanded notation. Now let's go ahead and practice reading it. First, read the number before the decimal. 1,085. All right, then we got to our decimal. You're going to write the word and. Then we're going to read this as a number, which is 6. And then we need to say the place value of the last digit, tenths, hundredths. So we'll say hundredths. So this number is 100 or 1,085 and 6 hundredths. All right, let's try again, expanded notation. Go ahead and try this slide by yourself, and then you will play the video and check your work. All right, so check your work. Notice how I skipped all the zeros. Notice how this is exactly what we did in chapter 1, except we're doing the decimals. And then just make sure if this is a 4 in the hundreds place that when you write it over here, you have 004, 004. Okay, now I'd like you to try to go ahead and write these in words and pause the video and then unpause to see how you did. All right, so we have 12 and 25 hundredths. Make sure you have the TH. 308 and 4 tenths. Make sure you have the TH. 2,454 thousandths. Check for that TH. Fix it if you got it wrong. All right, now we're going to go backwards. We're going to, this is standard, or I'm sorry, this is expanded notation. We're going to write it back in that standard form as a regular number. So I'm going to go ahead and put my decimal. First, I'll place the number 3. Then we have a 2 in the tens place, and we have a 2 in the hundredths place. Okay, over here it looks like we're going to have a hundreds, 10 and ones, and then we're going to go all the way to the 10,000. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So first I can just make my dashes, then I'm going to put a 4 in the hundreds place. Since I don't have any tens, hold on one second. Okay, sorry about that. Since I don't have any tens here, I'm going to put a 0. And then I have 1 in the ones place. Then I have a 6 in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths place, and then a 3 in the 10,000ths. So these have to both be zeros too. There are no tenths or hundredths. Okay, here I'm going to do tens place, ones, and then all the way to the thousandths place. Okay, so we have 6 tens, we have 7 ones, we have 3 in the tenths place, no hundredths, you can notice that was skipped, and a 9 in the thousandths place. So that's how we go the other way. All right, so now let's practice again writing these numbers in words. You're going to try these on your own. Would you go ahead and try all 4 of those and check your answer? All right, so go ahead and take a look. This is 9 and for our decimal, 75, and it's in the thousandths place. Make sure you have TH. Now we have no whole number, so we're going to go right into the decimal, and we will not need the word and. The number is 405, and then we say tens, hundreds, thousandths. So 405 thousandths TH. 3 is our whole number, decimal, and 7 is our number after the decimal. 7's in the thousandths place, so 3 and 7 thousandths. 13 is our whole number, decimal we say and. 28 is our number after the decimal, and 8 is in the hundredths place. Please fix those if you're still having trouble. All right, last slide here. Now let's see if you can go the other way. These are in word form. We're going to write it in standard form. That means just the regular old number. So this right here is word form. 316 and 15 thousandths tells you again where the decimal part ends. And this is what we mean by standard form, just the regular old number. All right, so 11 and 36 hundredths. So I'm going to start with this. The and tells me decimal, so I'm going to place my decimal. Before the decimal is the number 11. Okay, after the decimal we have the number 36, but the 6 needs to be in the hundredths place. So I'm going to go tenths, hundredths, and I'm actually going to kind of write that number 36 going backwards. So 6, 3, and sure enough, 36, the 6 is in the hundredths place. Okay, the next one, 45 and 300ths. So I'm going to place my decimal for and. 45 is my whole number before the decimal. My number after the decimal is 3, but it has to be in the hundredths place. So I'm going to draw out the tenths and hundredths, and I'm going to put the 3 in the hundredths place. Now notice there's nothing here, so we're going to put a 0 as a placeholder. Next problem, 532 thousandths. I noticed right away I don't see the word and. That means there is no whole number. So the decimal is going to be the very first thing. So 532, I'm going to put after the decimal. And the 2, though, needs to be in the thousandths place. So tenths, hundredths, thousandths. Let's write 532, but kind of go backwards. So 2, 3, 5. Then I know it's in the right spot. Let's check it. 532 thousandths. That looks correct. Try these three on your own. Pause the video and check your work. All right, so go ahead and see how you did. 62 and 7 is in the hundredths place. 34 hundredths. 4 is in the hundredths place. There's no whole number. 403 thousandths, no whole number, 403, and the 3 is in the thousandths place. All right, so you've got quite a few different activities you're going to do with this in your practice packet, and good luck.